Welcome everyone to our webinar series. This time we have, one of the seasoned experts in the MSME areas, Mr. Maheshwar Marathe, a CA who has been, I think, practicing for decades. No, not, I'll just not say number of years, but decades. And of course, apart from being a CA, he has also done a lot of certifications and has exposure in audit, risk management, and, a variety of things that he has been doing. And currently, I think he's also, developing a platform for MSMEs, which is MSME Care, essentially targeted for, educating MSMEs on whatever government schemes are coming up and helping them to stay aware and updated about the developments around them for MSMEs. And I think that's the agenda even we at Iris MSME are pursuing. So it is like a good partnership that we or a good expert that we have found where we are able to resonate the idea. And the topic that we are going to cover today, of course, is another critical one, which is on liquidity, a problem that MSMEs, often face. While when we talk about MSMEs, we often talk about a credit gap that, how they are unable to reach out to, lenders and financiers and get the best rate of interest. But it's not just always getting loan from external sources that is, will help to build the liquidity. Sometimes having internal discipline, following a process also can, unlock the liquidity, liquidity situations that you could encounter. Like the famous saying goes, every penny saved is every penny earned. So I think similar discipline is what we are actually really talking here about. And before we go into the topic per se, where I would of course request Mr. Marathe to take over, a brief introduction about us as well, Iris MSME. So Iris is a global compliance solution provider, and we have been helping regulators and companies across globe to do their compliances. So be it submitting information to regulators, or for regulators like RBI or ACRA in Singapore, how they can collect information from companies. This is the area where we have been predominantly working. And recently, we have also started this new business vertical, which is for MSMEs. And with this, what we aim to do is help MSMEs get access to information, access to funds, access to market, and access to experts. And so, with us, we have Mr. Marathe. So I would request you if you could share your screen and take us through this topic. And while Mr. Marathe does that, I'll just also mention we are, there live on YouTube, and you can of course see who are seeing us on MSME TV. You have a Q&A section. You can keep posting your questions. So after the webinar, we will also take a pause to see if there are any questions. We would like the session to be interactive. So the more questions coming from you, the better, I think, insightful the session will be. So over to you, yeah, Mr. Marathe.
Yes, thank you very much, Iris team, and it is a pleasure to be here. I would like to deliberate in Hindi, English, and yes, in between questions, if any, can be put in through that Q&A box, and we'll be very happy to immediately answer them. Maybe even after the session, if you get some queries, we can definitely answer them through mails or messages. To begin with, friends, as the topic itself suggests, from delays to discipline. So, MSME being a very, very crucial sector for the economy, it is very, very near to the government. Government always, in anticipation, wants to create some ease for them. So, we today would like to discuss three such very important initiatives of the central government around the ease of doing business for the MSMEs. And let me, to start with itself, speak about them in a line, maybe. So in last 1 year, three prominent things which have happened, which will certainly help the MSMEs strengthen their liquidity. One thing in 2024 March, which is for the auditors of the economy, the chartered accountants, for them kind of additional work that the government has given, and that is about disallowance of the payables to MSEs if they are not paid before the end of the financial year. So this is one very important thing which has happened in last year. 2024 was the first year of compliance for that. This was a very long pending demand from the MSMEs. uh, like the MSMED Act itself is a boon. So this was something which was due in the course and has finally happened in 2024, wherein if the buyers from the MSMEs, they don't pay them within 45 days or at least before the end of the financial year, they will not get the deduction for the amounts that they have dues towards these MSMEs. So this really has helped the MSEs, and definitely this delay related provisions are applicable only to micro and small enterprises, that to non-trading enterprises. So friends, believe me, being a practicing chartered accountant, last year our work has gone up because of this provision. We have to go through many ledgers of MSCs, we have to classify them, we have to do that extra effort to facilitate the payments of MSCs within time. And we are in the second year. We already are vouching for the real impact that this provision has made on the payment cycle towards the MSCs. If this was one second and very important some provision was amendment to the MSMED Act itself to change the definition. So with 2020 being the year when first time the limits of the MSME classification were changed after the enactment of MSMED Act in 2006, 2020 amid COVID, government amended it for the first time, and the limits had gone up to even 10 times of the original limits. But in 2025, effective 1st April 2025, there is one more revision in the MSME definition, making it more inclusive now. In fact, if I have to compare the definition today with the definition that was there in 2006, I can tell you for micro entity, the first limit was of 10 lakhs, right? Whereas today it stands at 2.5 crores. So that is the change that has come. And earlier, definitely the turnover limit was not there, but now even the turnover limit has come in. Up to 500 crores of turnover any entity has, it will be classified as MSC, micro, small, or medium, MSME. So this shows the financial inclusion, the government how it wants to prioritize those small entities who are really small. Anything more than 500 crore now will be treated as non-MSME, and for them definitely more internal control expectations from the government side. But up to 500 crores of turnover, you will be MSME, and you will be due for many of those benefits which otherwise government wants to facilitate you through many schemes that any state government, or for that matter the central government, wants to facilitate the MSMEs for. So now the entire coverage is bigger, and many of the entities in India, in fact 99% of the business in India would now be either micro, small, or medium. This was the second important thing which has happened in 2025. And third, one more very important thing towards dispute resolution for the MSMEs is the launch of ODR platform. ODR is nothing but online dispute resolution platform for any receivable related disputes that the MSMEs counter. This platform is launched. Friends, I have seen the transformation that has happened in last at least 10 or 12 years as far as MSME arena is concerned. Samadhan was the portal which was launched in 2015-16, wherein filing of these disputes was made online. But further process of getting the justice was still offline. In fact, before 2015, entire thing was offline. You had to file the case and forget about it. But Samadhan really brought that change of creating that speed as far as filing and sending first notice to the buyer is concerned. But ODR is really a mega step in this process itself, which now will ensure even the judgment is delivered online based on the AI driven data which government has with itself, be it GSTN, be it IT platform. through this data that the government has, once the MSE files its claim against any buyer, then because of this availability of data, definitely yes, it is a dialogue driven platform again. But then if the buyer agrees to the claim online, then even the judgment is delivered online. So assume a day or just to before 2015 we had to wait in queues, there were unlimited delays. From there we moved to Samadhan, and from Samadhan we are today on the ODR platform. So point here is why we are discussing this, because just to create that awareness that there are these enablers today available for you, the MSMEs, who can create a better liquidity position for their entity. And yes, this one thing you can note: better the liquidity, better are the profits. In fact, I would like to mention one very important case study which was done by the CRISIL rating agency, which visited close to 2000 MSMEs way back around 7-8 years back. And they have really given a very good report which says if these MSEs are paid as per the provisions of MSMED Act, that is 45 days, then their profitability should go up by 15%. So let us understand the importance of liquidity, because in India or even world over, MSCs are the victims of these delayed payments. Even in India, again, a recent study shows though there is improvement in the payment cycle, but there is still a long way to go. So, friends, with this small introduction, kind of these three things which have happened very recently, which are helping the MSCs to strengthen their liquidity. Now I'll go into this formal presentation which I have prepared for you, and yes, we'll deliberate on that. So to start with, basically the liquidity crisis is there, as I was just mentioning. A recent study shows that there are close to 10.7 lakh crores of delayed locked payments for the MSEs, which is close to 6 to 7% of the GDP. And in fact, 80% of the invoices get delayed. So though, as I said, we have improved a lot, but there is a long way to go. And these recent provisions, I am sure, will help the MSEs to recover their payments at the earliest. In fact, let me take you to this one very important slide, which is talking about this formalization that has happened in the entire MSME ecosystem. Friends, 2003 was the year when Atalji's government formed this Ministry of MSME by carving it out from Ministry of Industries. 2006 was the year when MSMED Act ultimately came into picture. 2015 to 20 was the digital transformation era, where we saw Udyog Aadhar, the first time online registration, self-declaration based, no fees kind of a Udyog Aadhar registration, the basic registration for the MSMEs. Again, before 2015, you had to stand in queues on the whims and fancies of the officer sitting there. You will either get the certificate or not get the certificate. That entire thing was vanished. Udyog Aadhar, believe your citizens based, self declaration based registration, basic registration for the MSMEs. Then we came to MSME Samadhaan, then the Trades platform, then the GEMS platform, so many things. And as I just mentioned, the ODR platform also. So this 4 or 5 years were of digital transformation, and 24, in fact I would say 2020 to 2025 was the real era of enforcement. Like one was regarding the trades platform compulsion, second was the MCA reporting regarding requirements from the Ministry of Corporate Affairs, and now this income tax driven section 43BH, which says if you don't pay the MSEs, you will not be allowed the deduction. So the entire ecosystem has seen this transformation in last decade or so. And in fact, I have created this pictorial 2003 onwards, many things that have happened and which have really given a boost to the MSME's liquidity and in turn the profitability. With this, let us now go on to the real three things which we'll be discussing. And in fact, this one thing I wanted to highlight, wherein the main reason for this particular imbalance between delayed payments between the big corporates and the small MSAs was that power imbalance or kind of lack of awareness, lack of push from the government side, which we can see in last 7-8 years definitely. So now the buyer has to reduce the reason which he was otherwise giving in paying these MSCs on time. So imbalance in the buyer supplier dynamics has to go down because of these recent initiatives, because otherwise the buyer will be heavily penalized. In fact, I normally discuss on this like there cannot be any compulsion, there need not be any compulsion. In fact, MSMEs are backbone for any economy. So any buyer who is buying from these MSMEs should treat this as a corporate social responsibility and pay within 45 days as expected. In fact, they can renegotiate the terms of supply and they can pay them within 45 days. In fact, again, as a practicing professional, I can see this transformation that is coming in. Awareness is going up. People now want to really accommodate these MSCs, let them pay them within 45 days, maybe with whatever commercials renegotiated. Uh, so with this, maybe these three things which I already discussed. One was regarding this 43BH section, then the revised classification and the online dispute resolution. If we have to go into detail of this, somewhere I'll start with this ODR, which is the recent one. In fact, hardly a month back, ODR platform is launched and is operationalized. Definitely, it was announced around a year back, but now it is fully operational. Paper based, from paper based complaints to fully digital governance, strengthening the MSME Samadhaan initiative. I normally call it as Bade Bhaiya or Big Brother of MSME Samadhaan, because it is giving uh, one ton of speed extra to this resolving the dispute. So if something, if there is no result from the ODR platform, then definitely we have to travel to Samadhan platform only. But before that, this can definitely be tried. If there is a good dialogue between the buyer and the supplier, then they can resolve it definitely, not even 3-4 days, more than that, right? So this comprehensive system handles everything from registration to settlement through structured document centric workflow with optional AI facilitation resolution. So this thing has come in. The core mechanism of this facility is digital submission, entire online submission. As soon as you ultimately conclude that there is a dispute between you and your customer, then you have to approach this platform and then submit your details, very nominal details, say purchase order, the bills, the delivery memo, which is anyways there with you. So once you submit that, then AI facilitated resolution kicks in. Definitely, yes, a notice goes to the buyer who has to respond to that. If he is not responding, yes, an option is definitely given. But if he really wishes to respond, if he is well informed, if he is consulting a good consultant on receipt of this notice of dues, he will definitely respond. That is what is our personal experience is. Empowered council, definitely technologically fortified MSEFCs with private ODR providers managing the caseloads. Um, and the ODR advantage for MSMEs is the speedy resolution, as I said, universal accessibility, because no barriers. If you have internet, you are through with your case. Cost efficiency, otherwise if you have to attend the things in person, even from the buyer's perspective, if you think for 1 minute, suppose he gets a notice, the buyer from the MSMEs, he gets a notice, he has to arrange a advocate, or he has to travel himself, he has to respond to these notices, he has to defend his claims, if any, or if he has to just defend, even otherwise he has lot of cost. So I would rather say from the buyer's viewpoint, there is a lot of reduction in cost if he really wants to have that dialogue with his supplier, which in our case, in our view, in 50-60% of the cases, the buyer comes back, he tries to create a dialogue, because one thing let us note, MSMED Act is totally biased towards the MSMEs. There are lot many Supreme Court judges, lot many High Court judgments, I'm sorry, Supreme Court judgments, which have now give, have clarified all the provisions of MSMED Act. In fact, the validity itself of the MSMED Act was challenged, but in a very good decision, be it Madras High Court, be it Supreme Court, has upheld the provisions of MSMED Act. So now I say that it has a very good judicial backing also. The law is done, it has a judicial backing, it has lot of enablers such as trades platform, such as ODR platform. So a lot of enablers, there is a initiative called this income tax related provisions. So all these things are just to fortify the liquidity position of the MSMEs. Let us compare it with a very in one more crucial sector, that is agri sector in India. Friends, for record, let me put it, MSMEs are the second biggest employers in India after agriculture. So they are very, very crucial. Their interest has to be protected. And as I said, in anticipation, government wants to work for them because they are the backbone for any economy. Right. So in my presentation, let us now move on to section 43BH. While creating this particular section, it was not one-off section that was created in this very famous section 43B. Anyone from this field, like a chartered accountant, would really agree with me that 43B is a very, very old section. It has already A to J clauses already present in this section. From ages we are working on this section for tax audit purpose, but this H clause, which is added in 2020 assessment year 24-25, is a well thought provision. It is not one just addition. Now in 1 minute, if I have to explain you what is section 43B, this is one section which says if you will get the deduction, if you actually pay this expenditure. Deduction on payment basis, not on provision basis. This is about section 43B. Now, on addition of this clause H, which is about payment to MSEs, this is a well thought clause. Why I say this? Because generally section 43B has an exception. There is an exception which says even if you don't pay before 31st March, but if you pay the dues before filing your return of income tax, you will still get the deduction in the same previous financial year. But friends, please note that in case of section 43BH, this exception is not applicable. If you don't pay within 31st March, you pay it before filing of the income tax return, you will not get the deduction in the previous year, but you will definitely get the deduction in the following year. That means, if I have to give simple example, 24-25 entity purchased from MSE, they paid in June 2025, that is before filing the income tax return. In other clauses of 43B, you will get the deduction, but for MSE payments, this deduction will be postponed by 1 year. That is, the deduction is available in the financial year 25-26. So that's why I say that this is not just one addition of a clause to section 43B. It is a well thought fortifying provision for the MSEs, which are uh, really the the needy people kind of what we say. So thanks to many organizations which have really followed up in making this happen. Yes, in any new initiative, there are teething troubles, there are starting troubles. The same thing happened in case of 43BH amendment also. Lot of protests were organized, lot of representations were given, lot of representations were given to postpone this section by one more year. But as usual, the style of this government, there is no postponement. It made applicable in 24-25 assessment year only, and now we are already in the second year of its implementation. Yeah, madam, should we stop here? Any question you want to raise or something?
Yeah, so I think there is one a question which keeps on coming, coming for us now. This whole online, or in fact, you also mentioned that all of these acts are very much actually biased towards MSMEs because we want, MSMEs to be well taken care of. But in case of this Samadhan portal, for example, when we had actually reached out to about 4,000 plus MSMEs in last few months, one thing that they had told us is, we do want to raise the request, but if we do that, we have a fear that our relationships with the vendors, with the customers will be get hampered because they will, it's like, I'm complaining
Sure.
against somebody late payment. So in this situation, what would you suggest, and how that delicate situation, if I can say, should be addressed?
Yes, yes. Hey, this is a very common question. You have rightly raised it. In fact, many people in my interaction also they discuss about this. So my very first reaction to this is we normally do not go legal unless all other resorts, all other options are striked out, are tried, right? We write a lot of letters, we try to go and meet, we try to write the mails, right? So if despite all this, if you are not able to contact with your customer, you are not getting any revert, what are the options left? On a lighter note, let me put this one. In one seminar, I raised this question: ki, what are your options? The person very interesting answer he gave कि मैं उपोषण को जाके बैठूंगा उनके गेट के सामने, right? So this may not be possible for every MSC because he has to run his business, right? तो
Correct,
उपोषण के
absolutely.
लिए तो कोई बैठ नहीं सकता, right? बैठने वाला बैठेगा, बाकी तो लोगों ने ऐसे भी बोला कि हम हमारे अच्छे हट्टे कट्टे दोस्तों को भेज देंगे उनके गेट पे. So point is on a lighter this thing, but ideally when everything is exhausted, you have to go legal. And in going legal also, we suggest our clients how to write that first letter, which is a very, very cooperative, very, very sweetly written kind of first letter of only 10 lines, 6 lines in fact. We are
Hmm.
very small, our margins are very thin. Please pay us within 15 days. We are registered under MSMED Act, and and the provisions say कि if there is a delay, you have to pay me interest at 3 times the bank rate. So these are the 5 lines. So that has to be done. And despite this letter, if nothing is happening, then I have to go to ODR or Samadhan. So this is a compulsion. Definitely, no one wants to lose any relation. But now the fortification itself, the enabling itself, is so strong. As I said, no thing can work long through compulsions. Okay, there has to
Correct.
cooperation. There has to be cooperation. So, in my view, even the buyers today understand this. They understand the importance. The role of my community, the chartered accountants, is very very important because anything, everything relating to these accounting, accounts, payables, receivables, bank finance, definitely the clients consults us, and we
Hmm.
invariably tell them कि you have to classify them, you have to nurture them, you have to pay them within 45 days, and if there is a delay for some reason, you pay them interest and pay immediately. Just don't provide and sit on that. Sorry, you have to provide and pay. And in fact, as I said, a lot of awareness is now getting created. Many chartered accountants, because I speak on chartered accountants forum also. So
Mhm.
I try to tell them ki this is my responsibility more than an opportunity. This is a responsibility. We have to perform that responsibility.
Yeah. So maybe one, I think, follow up on that as well.
Yeah.
So one, of course, there are even in buyers we have corporate set of buyers, like private sector, and then there are a lot of these PSUs also who owe, who engage with
Yes.
MSMEs and do owe them. So in case of
Yes.
PSUs, because it is again government, so is it like, the fear, which is the second fold fear, is one is reporting against them, and they are only the, authoritating body. So is it right
Correct.
on our part to report?
Yes. Yes. You have to, because again, same question has to be answered. You want your money because you already worked. And government in fact has issued notifications, circulars to every department specifically. Government departments as such. PSUs तो separately है ही कि don't delay these payments. इनके payment delay मत करो. And definitely now this trades platform, which I'll discuss maybe 2 minutes, is also making lot of changes. Is bringing lot of changes, cultural changes. So trades has
Okay.
become compulsory for everyone. 250 crore is the limit now. So
Hmm.
a buyer has to understand, yes, but this government related red tape is still there. It has to be removed. A lot of mileage we have covered, but still a long way to go. So government, in fact, as the study which I mentioned, it says that majority of the payments are from the government itself. Government, PSUs, government departments, they are the major defaulters. But yes, again, suppose you are not getting your dues, go against them. In fact, we have fought against government departments also.
Other
Yes.
important thing which you'd like to
Yeah.
hear about.
So,
Yeah.
yeah. So, this is one about 43B. Financial impact definitely has immediate tax impact, because if within 31st, in fact, last year, many MSCs, they really hailed this provision, because the person who was not paying them only started paying them without even intimation, without even demanding that. Before 31st March, many people they chased and paid the MSCs. Same thing has happened this financial year before 31st March also. So the impact is immediate. The provisions align with tax laws, with pro MSME policies, ensuring consistency across Samadhan and ODR. Professional implications, definitely chartered accountants, auditor, as I mentioned, now manage added disclosure. We have to, but it is our duty. We have to do that. This enhances MSME's visibility in formal financial reporting. In fact, we are talking about loan sanction within minutes. That day is coming, not far. In fact, in many cases that is happening. But how will that happen? That will happen if there is a robust payment cycle that is already defined, and the corporates are adhering to that. If that environment gradually comes in, then the day is not far where MSEs, MSMEs, they online apply for loans or facilities online, and they get the sanction letter online immediately. They get the facilities disbursed within days. So this is how we have to move to that formalization. As I said, long way to go. But if we keep trying, definitely that day is not so far. And this third and last initiative is about, as I mentioned, now the investment limit is 2.5 crore, turnover of 10 crore. In fact, up to 100 crore of turnover, my entity is either micro or small. Investment up to 25 crores. Yes, one very important thing to be noted here is micro and small for all the purposes is treated similarly for all the benefit purposes, almost same. Yes, micro definitely has some separate dispensation for them. But as far as the delayed payments are concerned or the concessional funding is concerned, micro and small are at par. Once you move to medium, again your advantage is goes down. But now, as I said, now up to 500 crores, many state government incentives are similar to all these three entities, micro, small, or medium. So this is how the change, in fact, has created that financial inclusion. One very important thing, again, 2 3 years back that has happened is a registration of these MSCs without they being applying for that. So a financial inclusion drive was created, wherein a huge data was collected from big employers. Like I can tell you, like paper distribution agents. Are they MSMEs? Are they service providers? Answer is yes, but they were not registered, right? So government gave them the government took the data from the employers in the sense the principals of the service providers, and they gave them Udyam registration as micro entity. So these things have happened in last 3 4 years, which are nothing but a financial inclusion only. uh, this yes, dramatic threshold expansion, yes, we already discussed that. I already mentioned about these judicial backbone, legal foundation for the MSMED Act. In the end, in fact, I am covering this, that in this early years of 2010 itself, in fact, this petition was filed in 2008-9. 2006 was the enactment, and 2009 they filed this petition to repeal this law. This is hindering my constitutional right to enter into contract. The petitioner said, who are you to decide how many days of credit I should agree with my supplier? I can agree 90 days, I can agree 120 days. Who are you to dictate that? It is my constitutional right to decide number of days. So this is how the act was challenged, and challenged to repeal all these important provisions, section 15 to section 22. The Madras High Court said nothing doing to fortify, to protect these MSCs from going out of existence. Your constitutional rights can be curtailed. This is what the judgment says. And a recent case law, which is NBCC, wherein the Supreme Court said, again, some loopholes were found out, and MSCs were denied these 45 days, like you have supplied me before registration, you were not registered as on the date of supply. So these excuses were also put to rest by the Supreme Court in a very recent judgment, which said to serve that larger uh, uh, goal and larger interest of the economy, you don't bring this excuses. They can claim their legitimate dues if the delivery is proven, even for supplies made before the date of registration. So these two important, just for example, I have put them, have really given that strength, legal strength to the MSMED Act. As I was mentioning, one important thing again of 2019, which is now really taking shape, because in 2019 this requirement came of MSME report, dues reporting by companies to MCA. But because immediately the COVID era started, so 2 3 years went into that, no penal actions were taken for non-reporting, wrong reporting. But now we can see the action. Companies are getting notices for wrong reporting. Chartered accountants are getting notices for wrong reporting, no reporting of these dues through their annual reports. And any non-compliance on MCA has huge penalty consequence. This on one side, pushing for compliance. On the other side, a great enabler was created called TREDS, Trade Receivable E-Discounting System, wherein, in fact, if you just want to go and check the performance of the TREDS platform, over last 5 years, it has tripled its turnover every year. In fact, this year it is 5 times. The number of bills discounted on this platform is growing tremendously. It is becoming popular. There were to start with. There was only one platform. Till last year, there were 3 platforms. Now one more platform is added. It is nothing but an exchange wherein buyer, supplier, and the banker is transacting. As soon as you supply, you have to lodge your bill. As soon as you lodge your bill, your customer has to consent to that. As soon as there is a consent, there are bankers sitting who want to discount your bill. And so MSCs in fact are getting a very good rated funding, a very low rate funding, because of TREDS platform. So in fact, TREDS in itself is a big topic for our discussion. Lot of uh, uh, live uh, live cases can be discussed there. Maybe I'm coming to the end of formal presentation, wherein I stress upon the evolving role of professionals and facilitators like Iris. I would say you are really doing that great job of information dissemination through these seminars. So my compliments to you. Same is with me as a practicing professional. It is our responsibility to go on promoting the accountability, go on creating the awareness so that we reach to the maximum MSCs, and really in troubled times they can take help of these platforms. Uh, and the last slide, I would say, uh, for Viksit Bharat, we are all the participants of Viksit Bharat. No one will come and create it for us. We are building that Viksit Bharat. We are the contributors, the participants of Viksit Bharat. So, three things in my view very important: robust infrastructure, skilled manpower, and assured liquidity. Like 30-35% of GDP, if the MSC is contributing, we have to enable them. So, yes, on first two fronts, we are really working hard. Liquidity front also, government is really creating that those enablers. Let us play our role of creating that awareness. The last thing, the path forward success needs coordinated efforts from government, MSMEs, even MSMEs. They need to claim their rights. They're very important. The facilitators, the professional bodies, right? Joint action in policy, compliance, and advisory will speed up MSME formalization. This fosters predictable liquidity, boosting competitiveness, cash flow. Like again, I am coming to the liquidity part only. I have few expectations again from the government or the machinery where few more things can be done, which I am demanding uh, from many platforms. I keep on giving them these expectations. Like one is daily MSME hearings. Today, the hearing at the MSC Facilitation Council is very irregular. They sit once in 15 days, in many cases once in a month. It has to be on regular basis, it has to be on daily basis. In fact, I say it has to be 35 days in a month. So that is the need. 40 days in a month. How can you do that? Right. So that is the need. So daily hearing. Council powers to enforce the awards today. Once the award is done, you have to go to the civil court again to get the assets attached. No need of that. Automatic supplier classification from the web search, like pan based supplier classification can be done, identification can be done. So these are few more things which will definitely help the MSCs uh, further strengthen their position in the economy and really help the economy. So I think with this I would like to end the formal presentation kind of. You have any questions, we can take them.
Yeah. Yeah, I think thank you, Alsa, so much for this informative one. So I think one of the couple of questions what were there I did ask you, and I think one from my side maybe I have, because you mentioned about TED's platform and the significant growth that TED platforms also has seen. So what is it that MSMEs really need to do so that their acceptance of invoices or everything becomes more better on the trust platform? So is it like they need to go more digital, or they should do something different? So what is it in for MSMEs in case of trust platform?
Yeah, first of all they should know that there is some platform like this today. That is the biggest problem, that many of them they don't know that such a platform can be there, right? And definitely yes, till date if we were like the traditional kind of things have to change. You should know if that who is your customer again. Is he liable to pay you through trades platform? Is he more than 250 crores? This information itself will help him to go and at least ask for it. I have such examples, let me tell you, very interesting. uh, an MSME, his payment terms were 15 days. 30 or 45 to bhul jao, 15 days. On the day when he came to know that there is a TEDS platform, he went and sat in front of them and told the purchase manager, boss, ये TEDS आ गया है, I want from TEDS. तो ही वॉज
Hmm.
ट्राइंग टू कन्विंस हिम, सर वो तो 45 डेज जिसका ज्यादा होता है उसके लिए है सर, प्लीज प्लीज आप 15 दिन है ना उसमें करो ना। तो नहीं, नथिंग डूइंग, ट्रेड्स है, मुझे थर्ड डे को चाहिए। पॉइंट इज कि सो दिस इज अवेयरनेस, राइट? सो यस, डेफिनेटली डिपेंडेंसी है, राइट? आप डिक्टेट नहीं कर सकते हो आपके टर्म्स, ये सब चीजें है, बट अपने तरीके भी हमको बदलने पड़ेंगे, हमको थोड़ा सा नॉलेज भी रखना पड़ेगा, नेगोशिएशन स्किल्स भी बढ़ाने पड़ेंगे। दिस इज ऑन द वन हैंड, but definitely the responsibility is on the buyer side. I would say the buyer is a more organized person. He's a corporate, his turnover is more than 200 300 crore. He cannot, he doesn't afford to be uh, with lack of control. He should have very good controls in house so that he can pay these crucial suppliers within 45 days. If he has good controls, he has good liquidity, he has good limits, he has to pay within 45 days. So it is both way. So MSME should claim it, and the buyer should treat this as a responsibility.
Okay. And in cases where, say, because one is MSMEs when they're dealing with large corporation, part of a supply chain, there are these means that are there. But when it is more of MSME to MSME, do you see any, what do you say, efficiency or anything that they should be looking at in this particular area?
As I said, if you are now claiming your rights, then you should be equally ready to pay your MSC suppliers, being a MSC yourself, because buyer can be anyone. Buyer can be himself MSC. There is no distinction, at least in the rules, right? So
Okay.
buyer can be anyone. Buyer can be MSC himself. He has to pay within 45 days. There, where the struggle is, yes, but then the law is equal for everyone.
Sure. So I think it was quite an informative piece. We'll just maybe wait for a minute or so in case there are more questions coming in. But meanwhile, let me say
Sure.
that there's one feedback that session has been quite informative. Yeah, and which I
Thank
definitely agree, because I think the need of this hour, like I said, even when we have been going to MSMEs and talking to them, awareness is
you. Yeah,
one big area. There are government is doing so many things, but if
correct.
it's not reaching information also at the end mile, then it's not as effective.
Right.
So yeah, so I think really good that professionals like you who are putting together so much of info. See, we are a platform, but for us to also you know actually ensure that correct information is reaching to MSMEs, definitely it's that coexistence of experts like you who make that journey quite effective. So really thank you
Thank
for
you.
this. Yeah, and I think I really liked when you mentioned that Vikatsit Bharat. It's not somebody else is doing that Vikas. We all are part of the Vikas. We all are part of the journey. I think
Correct.
that was a
Correct.
very statement which perhaps a tagline which I might use somewhere. Of course, with due credits to you, but yeah, Vikatsit Bharat is not one person's job. It's all of us being part of it. Very
Correct.
well said.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
So thank you, Iris, also for this initiative.
Yeah, and sure for our all audiences and participants. Of course, while this whole webinar will be there on YouTube as well, so we see more and more people might be viewing it later on as well. So you all can always post your questions to us. We would be happy to get in touch and get the queries responded, and also download our app, track us on social media, so that more such sessions from experts like this, you should be able to get it handy. And Mr. Marathe, we hope we can do such few more sessions going forward, which will be really informative and for our MSMEs.
Sure.
Sure.
Sure. Sure. Sure. Sure.
Yeah.
Sure. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you so much. Have a great day.
Thank you. Thank you.
हेलो छोड़ दो